Hey y'all, welcome to Bookishrealm. Oh my god, I'm still not over whatever this is. I've changed my shirt, thank god. I feel like in the last two videos I've had the same shirt on. But this is still a thing, so if I sound very nasally, that's why. I apologize. I can't fix that. I've been taking allergy medicine. I've been doing everything in my realm of possibilities to take care of it. I think I'm just gonna have to write it out at this point. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, as you can see here from the title of this video, we're here to do another discussion, and it is, does Booktube value authenticity? Now, there are a million different answers to this question. There are a million different viewpoints for this question. I am just posing the question, as I always do with a lot of topics that I bring up, and I am just openly discussing them. And this is just coming from things that I have personally experienced in my time and being here in the community. This is not a one size fits all. This is definitely not the experience of everyone, but just some things that I've been thinking about over the course of the past few months or so. So when I say authenticity, what I mean is, does the Booktube community value both creators and viewers? Do they value creators being themselves? And I think depending upon who you are and depending upon which angle you're looking from, this answer is going to vary. So I'm going to speak a little bit about how I feel based on my own personal experience. I think that Booktube values authenticity to a certain degree. It's not, in my opinion, universal. I think that there are certain roles that I feel like I have to fulfill in order to be successful. And successful really, once again, is how you look at your own performance. I can look at my channel right now and say, you know what, I think I'm doing a steady good job. I could be in someone else's shoes who doesn't have the opportunities that I have, and therefore my channel is successful. Or I can look at it from the lens of, oh my goodness gracious, my channel doesn't perform the way that it should perform considering the number of subscribers that I have. And I think being completely transparent and honest and clear, I think I pull a little bit from both. So I am very, very grateful for the opportunity that I've been given. I know that I have a subscriber count, which I don't look at as just a number. Like, those are humans behind those numbers. But I think it is a privilege that I am where I am. And I appreciate those who have been so committed to this channel and to my progress and everything that I've done in the past 8 to 10 years at this point. Like, can't believe it's going to be 10 years in 2024. It's a long time. But I think that sometimes what I have been noticing is that, and this is probably with anybody, and a lot of other creators have noticed this, is that more controversial and negative content does better. It does so much better. And unfortunately, that's not me in terms of content creation. Now, me speaking my truth and me standing up for what I believe is to be right is not me giving what I consider to be controversial content or really just getting on camera, running my mouth and dragging people for filth. Like, not the same thing. I definitely don't put those in the same category. What I mean by controversial or negative content is stuff like things I don't like in books, every book I've ever given 1 star, authors I'll never read. Those are videos where I'm constantly giving hot takes. I'm dragging people for filth. I'm being kind of snappy. I have a little bit of attitude and sass. And that's not me all the time. And I know for a fact that that content is more successful. It's easier for me to get views with content like that. YouTube pushes that content and people have more access to content like that. Anytime I discuss anything that's a little bit more on the controversial end, YouTube will push that. That gets more views. And so when I think about it in terms of authenticity, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if my authentic self is happy, joyful, and just wanting to gush about stuff, it's not as successful as when I'm negative, not happy, pissed off, kind of like angry about content. And I think as a creator, sometimes that can make you feel some type of way. And I'm not just gonna say that as a Black creator, because Beautifully Bookish Bethany also posted a, was it a story, Bethany, I think you posted, where she had made the comment like, you know, people complain about negative content, but it's the content that performs better. And I think as creators, we do know that negative content has a tendency to perform better. And for some of us, that's just not us being all the time authentic. And when I say authentic, I don't mean that we're getting up there and we're lying and we're not telling the truth about how we feel about this stuff. But I couldn't imagine being a content creator where I knew in order to get the views that I wanted, I would have to consistently put out negative content. That's not an authentic version of me, because that's not the energy that I put out all the time. That's not the energy that I have in my day-to-day life. And so to continuously have to bring that to my channel is not a true reflection of me as a person. And I feel like in that sense, I lose a little bit of authenticity. I think there's a lot to be said too about the fact that people come to YouTube in general, not just Booktube. People come to Booktube, YouTube for entertainment. It is a space to kind of get away from your ins and outs of your day, and you want to be entertained. And honestly, I think that that's also kind of the struggle there in value of authenticity, is that like some people just get on here because they just want to talk about books. Like they just want to review, they want to share, they want to do recommendations. But unless there's some like interesting twist or spin or whatever to it, people want to be entertained. People don't want to always sit down and just hear you talk about books anymore. And it just shows the progression, I think, of social media and the culture around social media in general. Now, I think that there is some allotment of authenticity, but it depends on what you put the value on. So are you more concerned about your views on your channel, or are you more concerned with just sitting in front of a camera gushing about books and whoever watches it watches it? I think that when you place more value on, I'm just here to be a part of the community, I like the camaraderie that exists between, certain groups of people, I like being able to talk about books because maybe I don't have that space to do that in my personal life. I think that those people who put that focus on it, or are more towards that side of the two perspectives, I think there probably is a greater feeling. And I'm making an assumption here. I'm going off of the fact that when I look at it from that lens, I feel like I'm more able to be my authentic self. I think if I switch to the side where I'm like, I'm worried about views, I'm thinking about what's going to get clicks, that's when I feel like I lose myself. And I think that it can be dangerous when you attach yourself to that perspective of things. But let's be honest, because I always say this, it's hard to be in this community, be on any social media platform and put so much work and energy into it, and then you don't get the views to support it. I think that anybody who is a part of any of these communities, at some point you're going to feel that way. You want your videos to perform. You want the content that you put out to do well. And I think that that's human nature, but it gets hard and difficult sometimes, I think, to find that balance between the two. And how much of yourself do you give up, or how much of yourself do you sell short in order to make it to the top? And it may be a conversation too that's not just applicable to the Booktube community. I think it's a conversation that could be applicable to any social media platform, which is like, how much of this is us being authentic and being ourselves when we sit in front of a camera, or how much of it is us having to put on a performance and we're acting and it's not really who we are? That is a legitimate question. I think a lot of people feel pressure sometimes that, you read stuff that you don't typically want to read. You'll have people who will read books and know that they were not going to like the book because of the fact that they know by doing a rant review or dragging a book, it's going to get them views. And I feel like that in itself, like, are you being authentic to yourself? Are we doing this now because of viewership, or are we reading because we actually love the art of reading? And I think that's where that piece of how authentic is it and how much do we as a community value authenticity anymore? Because I know that I have seen people who have jumped into the Booktube community and are smaller creators say, they feel the pressure to read books that are hyped, especially if you're new to the community and you haven't been here for a long time. You feel the pressure to read what everybody else is reading because it's the hottest thing. You want to be in the know of everything when it comes to the actual literature piece of it. You want to be in the know of what everybody else is reading and doing. Now, am I here saying that there are people within the community who are creating whole entire personas? It's not my place. So I have my thoughts, but it's not my place, I think, to make any judgments on anybody because of the fact that I don't know anybody that well off of camera. There are a handful of people that I know very, very well off camera, but as a whole, it's not a lot of people that I know personally like that behind the scenes. And so I can't make any value judgments of whether it is their true personality traits or not. But it is a question to have, like, how much of this is us being 100 with ourselves and how much of it is us just putting on a front because we know that being our true authentic selves is not what's going to get us the views that we think that we deserve. And sometimes putting on a performance and being entertaining for people is what people want to see. I don't know. It was just a question that I literally had that popped up in my head, and it's probably all over the place. As I always say in my discussions, like, I'm always here to hear people who agree, who disagree. If you have different perspectives, like, this is once again the place to generate conversation. Only thing that I ask is that you do not attack one another in the comments. I don't think we've had any issues like that, but I always like to put that up as a preference, just, or as a, yeah, it is a preference of mine that we just don't do that because this is supposed to be a safe space for people to be able to give their feelings and their thoughts. So the question I have for you is, do you feel like Booktube allows for creators to be authentic? Or do you feel like it has to be a balance of being authentic and also being, I guess, entertaining, as well as you're acting to a certain level? And I'm going to clarify this too. Authentic doesn't always mean you have to be transparent about everything. Because at the end of the day, I don't know you. You really don't know me. Y'all don't really know anything about me behind this camera. I let you know what I want you to know. But what really is happening in the background, who I really am as a person behind this camera, you will never know that. And so I'm not talking about transparency. Transparency is for people that you trust, and for safety reasons. We're on the internet here. You don't have to be transparent about everything. When I say authenticity, I mean doing content that you are passionate about, reading what you are passionate about, saying what you believe in, instead of saying and reading and doing what you think everybody wants from you. Either way, let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're looking to support the channel on Patreon or follow me on social media, all the links will be down in the description box below, and I'll be back with another video soon.